So here we are now, part 2, and the tube is off, the wheel is off, and the first thing I want to do is show you some different patch kits I have. These are available on Amazon or at a bike shop. This one I've had for quite a while. This one is Patch X, and notice it has glue, comes with different size patches, comes with a little piece of chalk. And so it's a good patch kit. This is my favorite one. This is a glueless patch kit, and the glueless I'm kind of preferring. You sand the tube a little bit, and then you apply it. You press down hard for 30 seconds, and then you're good to go. And then this is another one I picked up at a local bike shop that I really like. And it's just your basic kit that has, again, it has glue, and I'm trying to get a focus here, sorry about that, but basically it has a long patch and glue and some sandpaper, and these are inexpensive. Like I said, the rubbers, they come with a patch, and it's a great patch. It's a glueless patch, and it comes with the sandpaper. So let me just position this, and let's continue what we're doing. And so all right. So I'm using my phone on this, so it's not perfect. In a perfect world, I'd have a tripod with a video camera, and I'm using a Bluetooth microphone though, so the sound is a little better. So you have your patch kit. This is the one that is, I'm going to use the one that's glueless, that's already comes, and notice there's a small tool here for roughing it up, and there's that. There's also sandpaper and chalk. One of the big things to remember is don't leave something sharp inside the tire. And so quite often you can do a visual inspection, and you can see where the glass cut the tire. You can see that there's a little piece of thorn or a little staple or something. And you just go through and you can see it, and you want to make sure that you get the thorn or the glass out of there. I was in San Francisco a couple of weekends ago, and I hit a piece of glass, and when I came off, when I took the wheel off, I worked out a piece of glass. I thought that was it, but then I thought I'd check again, and I actually found another piece of glass even further into the tire that probably would have just caused another flat after I repaired it. So you want to go around, and what you then do is carefully take your finger and just go inside, run it around the tire, and what you're looking for is something sharp. Now, you don't want to find something sharp because it hurts, but you want to make sure that you've got it out. Now, some people will use the chalk to put a little hole to circle it and show. You can do it on your tube, but you want to go around, very important, make sure that you get whatever caused the flat out of the tire, or else you're just going to go from flat to flat to flat. Very frustrating. So these are tips for beginners, and if you're an expert already, well, you know this. Now, if you saw where the hole was when you were pulling the tube out, so you found the thorn here, and then you took the thorn out, and then you marked it, and then when you pulled the tube out you could see the hole. Well, that's great. What do you do if you're not quite sure where the hole is? There's a couple of ways. The old-fashioned way, years ago, if you're at home and you have tons of time, is you put air in the tire, and then you can go to a little bucket of water or go to the sink, put some water in it, and run the tube through the water and look for air bubbles. Then you have a wet tube, and your tube has to then be dry. So it's a long process, but it's the most effective way. On the trail, you don't have that luxury, and so you want to blow it up and take your pump and pump it up, probably doing a hand breath is not sufficient, and so you won't get enough pressure to see exactly where the hole is. But you want to go around and you want to find it. Now, once you find it, if you have chalk, you know, just I don't like to put chalk under the patch, so I like to just kind of put reminder marks like this. So let's say that's the hole right there. I don't like to get it dirty. Then you're going to rough it up with your sandpaper, and then you apply the glue, and the instructions, depending on the kit, it will tell you. Sometimes you put the glue on the patch, sometimes you put the glue here, sometimes you do it on both. Then there's a waiting period so the glue can cure, and then you take your patch, and remember that the patch, some of them, if you read the instructions, this one here, when it comes off, it peels off, and it will tell you to make sure you read the instructions as to, do you take the foil off, do you not take the foil off, how do they want you to put it on. And so just read the instructions, but then you're going to put the patch on, and you're going to make sure the tire's deflated, obviously, because you don't want air coming out. You don't want pressure while you do this. And so you make sure that the tube is not inflated, and you hold the patch down for whatever length of time it says, and you get it nice and firm, and you just make sure. And I would hold it in one spot for 30 seconds, if that's the length of time they say. Then change your spots and do it again for another 30 seconds. Don't be doing this during the 30 seconds because it defeats the purpose. But hold it down. You want to make sure that you get the entire patch. It's a strange thing, but see the size of the tube and the patch, it'll actually go over. So you want to make sure that the entire patch. And what this will do is make sure that you don't have a tiny leak. But hold the patch down, get it down. So we've put the patch on. If it's glueless, well then you've just held it down for 30 seconds. You've made sure it's clean and dry. You sanded it, you put the patch on. Everything is good. So now, once again, we're getting ready now to put the tube back on. And so what you want to do now is put a little bit of air again into the tube. And what I like to do is, if you're blowing it up without a pump, just a tiny bit, just gently pull as you screw it down. If you find that air keeps coming out, just gently pull down while screwing this in, and that will keep air from escaping. Now notice there's a nice little bit of air here, and now we're going to put the tube back in. So we start with the valve. So we find our hole, and notice that the tire is only on one side, and we put this in. We start here, and then we start now to gently put the tube in. So just very gently start putting the tube that's mildly inflated. It's just got a tiny bit of air in it. This keeps it from kinking, and you just very gently just tuck it in. And if you're on the trail, if you're on a path or something, make sure you're not picking up debris that goes inside. One thing that I like to do when I put new tires and tubes on, I like to put a little bit of talcum powder inside. So a little bit of baby powder is great, and that will last you. And when you go to repair, you'll find it saves with friction. It helps prevent friction. So now, as you can see, we're going around, we're putting the tube in, and now we're at that part where we want to put the tire back on. Now, I don't know, some people, if you think that this is the easiest way to do it, what you'll end up breaking these. It's just a lot easier to do it by hand. And I was taught, after I had been doing it for a while, I was taught by another repair guy at a specialized shop to go from the opposite side of the tube. So there's the valve. Start at the opposite side of the valve. And so now what we're going to do is just start working this tire on, and make sure you're not going to pinch the tube. And so we just start working it on, and don't pinch the tube. And so now this is the valve, and I'm starting to work the tire down around. And this is a slow process where you just keep working it around and stretching and pulling the tire towards. And I'll watch the video in a second and see how well you can see this. But notice what I'm doing is I'm just doing this, and I'm going to bend down now beside the camera. See, with my hands, I'm just gently doing this. Now, I'm here, the valve is here. Make sure you're not pinching the inner tube. This is the hardest part. Some tires are notoriously tight on the wheels, but what you do now is flip it over, and again, just work the tire, and you'll be amazed at how much extra space you get. And then just keep working it like that. So notice what happened is I just kept working it just gently, slowly, and it's on brand new tires. It has taken quite a while sometimes because the tire is so fit. Then, most important now that the tire is on, go around and make sure there is no tube sticking out from under the tire, because when you go to inflate it, all right, looks good. So there's my valve, and I'm going to loosen it now. And then this is the last step that I do. Let me grab my pump. I inflate it, deflate it. So this is a Joe Blow Pro, and I like this one. And with this short valve, you have to do this. And that's why I got away from this shorter valve, because it's just a pain. And so what I do is I blow it up a little bit, and I just let the tube adjust itself into the tire. And this is reminding me why I got away from the short stems. There we go. And so what I do is I blow it up, and then usually as you get up to around 60 pounds, you'll start to hear a bit of a pop and adjustment, and then I take the air out again, and I take it up to pressure. Anyway, if you have any questions, ask, and I'll put out a third part if I need to. But thanks for watching this.